Hi, Paper Pumpkin fans. Welcome to Robyn's Roost. I'm Robyn Rassett, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Minnesota. So, what do you do with your boxes? So you get these wonderful boxes every month, and you make the kits, the cards from the kits or whatever's in them, and then you have this box. Now, you can recycle it. I hope you don't just throw it away, right? Recycle it if at least. But I use mine to hold my cards that are completed. So I have maybe 1,000 cards, right? I need to donate some. I do sell them at craft fairs, but I haven't been doing that as much the last few years, probably since COVID, right? Anyways, my grandmother, this all came about because I was thinking about my grandmother. Her name was Myrtle. Of course, to me, she was just grandma. She would cover her boxes that she put her Christmas decorations in and put them in this closet, a back room. And I can always remember how magical it was to go into her closet, right? She had all these beautiful boxes, and she would know exactly what was in them because she'd kind of have them coordinated. I think maybe she had some other seasonal decorations in different papers, right? Anyways, so I was thinking about Grandma, and I thought, wouldn't it look nicer if I did my paper pumpkin boxes like by theme, right? Do some heart paper for my Valentine cards, and and then at a glance I could tell what was in them. I still probably will need to label them, but anyways, so I started. And of course, like all paper crafters, I have a little bit of paper laying around. So I took some of my, retired, gosh, I've been thinking about expiring lately, I guess. But anyways, some retired papers that I don't use really because I make enough with the stuff that's available right now, current, for you guys to look at. And I hate to say, oh, look at this pretty paper, you can't buy it. Anyways, so I took some of those and I covered these boxes. So I'm thinking this is going to be like summer themed, like my hey, how are you, hello, those kind of cards. And I probably will still put like a little label on the edge, but I won't get carried away because I don't want it to mess up my pretty paper. And then I found this paper and I thought, oh, this looks kind of girly, right? Pink. So maybe some little girl birthday cards in this one. Now, I did not cover the bottoms because they sit on a shelf. And I also thought these would work good at my craft shows too, right? I do have a big rack, but it doesn't hold anywhere near all the cards that I have. So, I just wanted to show you a little bit. Okay, so if you're really fussy, you probably need to like add little pieces on the corners. I'm not really fussy, and this is on the back. Whoops, it's on the back. So it's not really going to show too much. And the boxes kind of go together, so you don't, it's kind of hard to get them, other than maybe if you like opened the box flat and then covered it, and I wasn't going to go quite that far. So anyways, let's get started. I'll flip the camera down and I'll show you how I did this and the measurements that I used. So the box that I'm covering right now happens to be the very current one, Fall for Toile. I'm never sure how to pronounce that word. Toile. Anyways, I just got it in the mail today because mine got lost. I was looking at everybody's beautiful designs that they were showing, and it was like, mine isn't here yet. So I called up demonstrator support. I'm not sure what day it was, and I said, I haven't got mine yet, and they said, we'll send you out another one. So if that ever happens to you, make sure you call and tell them you didn't get it. So our first spot we're going to cover, let's see, where am I, is these flaps on the lid. So here's the inside of the lid. We're going to cover just the outside. I'm not doing anything with the inside, but you certainly could if you wanted. But we're going to cover these outside flaps. So to do that, I need to cut two pieces that are, let me find my measurements here, about 1 5/8 by 6 1/4. Now, it seemed like on these, depending on how this box bent, it might be a little bit more than the 1 5/8. So like maybe 1 11/16, which is what I cut this one at. And then it's by, let's see, how's this going to work here on our table? It's by 6 1/4. Darn it, if it had been 6, we could have just cut it in half, right? All right, so we need the longer one. And then, all right, let's go to, now I'm off screen again. Let's go to 1 11/16. And I have to think 1 1/2, and then 1/8, and then 1/16. That's just the way my brain goes. Okay, we'll probably use that piece again. It does take two of the 12 by 12 sheets of designer series paper, and then you'll have a few leftovers for cards, right? You could also do this, make a gift box out of these. I'll get my other sheet out of the way so I don't get glue on it. Now, I did find that I had better luck using the wide end of the glue, and I just kind of smeared some on. Let's see if I can get this a little higher. And then I took an old paintbrush. Actually, it's one that it's my glue brush. And I just spread it out to the edges. And then make sure you get it to the corners. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Now, I actually do find that the brush does wash out pretty good with the glue, because this one's been in my stamp room quite a while. I almost got too much glue on there already, because it'll get kind of goopy if we get too much on it. And then I'm going to set this off to the side while we cut our next piece. So let's cut the piece for the back edge of the bottom. And we're going to need one that is 2 1/4 by 9 5/8. And I think this measurement probably stays pretty close. Okay, so we've got 2 1/4. And then we need to go long again by 9 5/8. Okay, so 9 1/2 and then 1/8. And this one, I need to score it 1/2 inch on the long edge, and I do not have a scoring blade on here at the moment, so I'm going to have to go over to my score board. Okay, I actually broke a notch out of my trimmer somehow, and my score blade doesn't stay in, and it's here somewhere. Do you ever have things like that? It's somewhere. But I don't know where. Let's see. Okay. Now let's move this out of the way for a moment. Now, this is the back, the bottom of the back, or however you want to call it. It's the bottom of the box. And we're going to glue it right on here like this. Now, there could be a better way to do this. I don't know. This is just the way I go about it. So, I do want to take some of this extra glue, call it extra, and I'm going to put it on this flap. It doesn't take a ton of glue because you don't want it squeezing out all over. But you do want to pretty much cover the whole thing so that it all sticks and you don't have like loose spots. Okay, and then I just smear these around. And I mostly use the brush so that I can get everything right to the edges so I don't have like paper flapping. And that's our back. Now these should be dry enough that we can cut these side edges. And you're just going to trim off these corners so that they match the cardboard. Now let's do our top. So for our top, we're going to need a piece that is 9 3/8 by 8 1/2. And I have my full piece of DSP for this one. Okay, and I just have to double check here. I'm thinking, okay, this is the width is the longer one. This is the 9 3/8. Okay. So I want this, I'm going to put it this way, right? Yes. Okay, so I want to cut 9 3/8 this way. And I'm not sure that it really matters on my little bow ties. Okay, 9 3/8. And then by 8 1/4. Okay, now we need to do some scoring on this, and again I've got to run over to my other scoreboard, and we are going to score. So this is going to need to be scored this direction, and it's going to be at 1 3/4. Okay, so I'm just going to give it a little fold. Then once we have it all glued up, we just need to place it in here, on here. And I did find that I got a little gluey. So take wash breaks to go wash your hands. Okay, now we'll let that dry a little bit before we trim those. Now we need to work on this front edge, which is has one extra little thing. We've got to cut this out. So let's bring our trimmer in again. And this one is 2 1/4. Let's see if any of these are long, big, wide enough. Let's see. This is, nope, it's only 2. Okay. 2 1/4 by 9 5/8. Let's see. Oh, I must have another piece here. Oh, there it is. Whew. I was going to say I didn't cut something wrong, did I? Okay. Yeah, this one is it. 2 1/4. And I did start this project with a partial second sheet, and I thought I had enough, which it looks like I think I do. 2 1/4 by, ooh, these guys are going to be running the opposite direction, but I'm okay with that. If you're not okay with that, you need to like have 2 full sheets. Okay, and this is 9 5/8. And then we have to score this at 1 3/4. So I'll be back in just a second. Okay, so I've got it scored. And this is going to be our part that goes on the bottom. Now what I want to do to make my little hole, and I've got to stand up so that I can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so you do need a pencil or pen or something. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark the inside where this is. Let's see, did it get marked? Yes, I could see the lines. And then I just took a 1-inch punch. You could cut it out with your scissors. And I just punched it like twice to get it, because it's not a circle, it's kind of more of an oval. Oh, looks like I got a little bit I missed in the middle. Okay. Let's see, I need a little bit of glue for my brush, because again I'm going to brush on the glue on this, on our edge that goes underneath. So you Paper Pumpkin subscribers out there who are watching, how many paper pumpkins do you have on your shelf that are not finished? And how many do you have that you've never opened? Okay, that's the saddest part. I think almost all of mine have been opened, but there's quite a few that are not completed. A lot of times I'll take them out and I'll do one of each, and then I'll do an alternate of each, and then I put it back on my shelf and I don't get back to it. Okay, now we're just about, oh, we have to cut this off, don't we? Let's do this trim here. And trim over here. And I'm sorry if I'm off camera. I really need a keeper. It just gets worse the older I get. I need someone to lead me around and tell me where to go. Okay. So now these ones, we want to make this little edge on here, and you could have it go all the way down. I didn't on my dimensions. Let's see, I think we're going to use this last bigger piece that we have here. Move that out of the way again. Okay, so for this we need 2 pieces that are 2 3/4. Is this going to give me 2 of them? Let's see, we got to go this way, don't we? oh dear, I'm not sure about this. That's that piece that's 2 inches. See, and I thought I was being frugal to use, this is not gonna make it. Thought I was being frugal to use the piece that was only a partial. And by 6 3/8. Let's see. And the lines are there on these, but they're really hard to see. Okay, so there's 6 1/4 is there. I'm gonna go measure this on my other trimmer. Okay, and then we need to score this at 3/8, 2 1/4, and 2 1/2. Now we're going to have to get a little bit creative here. Okay, so this piece will do the edge. This was not in my plan for this class. All right, this needs to be 6 3/8. Oh, I had to cut this on the other one. Okay, so this is going to go right here. So our double score is going to wrap around, and then this is going to go here. Well, I'm going to get a little bit more extra. You could also use your silicone mat, which I haven't used much on this one because I'm trying to get it up here where I can show you what I'm doing. Okay. And this one we have to put glue on both edges to be a little bit trickier. Okay, well, let's move these, spread this around a little bit. Hopefully next week I will have some alternates for the for this kit. Now that it came today, I can start playing with it. Okay, now as crafters, see, you have to be creative, right? So we are going to be creative and fix this somehow. So we've got this piece that's going to go here, and then we're going to cut another one. Let's see, what do we have here? This is perfect. Okay, we're going to cut this piece the same length, which is, remind me again, 6 3/8. Okay, so now we need to score this one so that it's going to make our fold over. So we're going to pretend that this is one piece, and I'll be back in a minute after I do these scores. Okay, so my little narrow piece, let's see, let's get this trimmer out of the way. Okay, my little narrow piece is going to be my fold over. Get my folds on here. It's a little harder with this little narrow piece, but you're not going to do this. You're going to cut this one exactly like the one on the other side. You're not going to make a boo-boo, right? But I am showing you how to fix a boo-boo, kind of, sort of. So this is going to go on here to make our fold over, and let's just pull in our silicone sheet. Ooh, that glare is horrible, isn't it? I should have turned off my big light. Okay. I'll pull this back in. Okay, and this one I did the one score to go wrap around the bottom. It's here somewhere. I can feel it. Can't see it. Okay. Now let's go ahead and add our glue on here. Only those of you who watch this video and me will know that this is 2 pieces. So there is our pretty box to store our cards in or to give as a gift. Hope you enjoyed this this little silly additional tutorial, not a card, but rather reusing a box. Hope you have a great day and get out those paper pumpkins.